Okay, there we go. So yeah, we're just talking about getting this session that we want to put together for weekends where we're going to be redoing our vision boards and life planning. And really what I really want us to focus on is that I know over the last 2 years, let's say, we have all worked really hard, right? I think if there's anybody that doesn't feel that way, I would love for them to come step up to the mic and have a conversation with me about it. Because I feel like we all have. We've all had to learn how to show property again. We've had to learn how to write contracts again. We've had to do the PED. We've had to not do the PED. We've had to wipe down groceries with bleach. We've had to not wipe down groceries with bleach. We've had, all kinds of different things that we've had to do over the last few years. And I've shared with you guys the story of me teaching a class and walking in and seeing this lady walk into the office with her little purse and her little coffee and her little laptop. And she just did not look like me as I was coming into the office every day. I was schlepping 3 bags, generally had coffee spilled down the front of me, and my life was not elegant. And in that moment, I really decided that I wanted to turn my business into something that I could do for a very long time. So that, we don't have retirement plans, and we don't have other things that a lot of other jobs have. And even those that have it are very limited at this point. So the best thing we can do for ourselves is prepare to retire at some point, but also prepare to be able to do this business long enough so that we can save to be able to live the lifestyle we want to live after we retire. And so that's the thing I really want to do now is refocus, because I think I've focused on this a lot over probably the last 10 years, but I want to refocus on making this business something that's sustainable and elegant for me, so that I feel a little less like a tugboat every day. And I think I've been feeling that way quite a bit lately. Sorry, the neighbor dog's walking by. Craig's laughing. He knows the story. And so that's really what this Saturday session is going to be about. Like I said, I wanted to try to make it next weekend, but I don't think it will be. I think it'll probably be the following weekend, but I'll put something out to all of you guys so that we can get it on the calendar and get the dates so that you guys can have it locked in. And so I hope it's something that I know I need in my business, in my life, and several other agents in our office have reached out to me to do it. So I definitely want to open it up to everybody that wants to come, and we'll just sort of make a morning and a midday out of it. I'm thinking it'll probably be like a 10 to 2 sort of situation. So just have that in mind. But yeah, that's sort of my plan for the next little bit. I'm just going to kind of regroup and plan for these little shifts that are coming up. For me, it's a market of opportunity for recruiting, and for you guys, it's the same thing. There's a market of opportunity where there will be some agents getting out of the business. And I don't mean to scare you right now. Things are still moving, properties are still selling, escrows are still opening, and they're still closing. Like, all of that's good. We're just having to get realistic with pricing, and really, this is where we as practitioners really shine. It's where we show our skill, when we're able to guide our clients through not the easiest market, but the ones that tend to be a little bit more challenging, right? This is where they really need us. And this is where those skills really come through. So we did have something come up this week. Again, I've only been here for 2 days, or it was yesterday and this morning. So I haven't had a lot that I wanted to go over, but we did have something come up that I kind of wanted to share with everyone. And I'm going to invite you all to join us. We just completed our List Like a Pro class, and we're about to do what to do when you open an escrow. So kind of how to guide a buyer and a seller through the escrow process. We also had something come up this week with some leases, and I had a situation, one of our agents had a situation with leases, and it's really brought to my attention that we probably need to do a session on how to take a lease listing and what to do to successfully run that lease, whether it's a long-term lease, a seasonal lease, or a short-term lease. Those are all different animals, and you need to approach them differently. And I want to show you guys what to do when you get one, so that you know what to do. Because what we have found is that several of us have gone through the process and have kind of had to learn and learn by just getting the experience. And sometimes it is costing us. And so I just want to make sure, and it not dearly, but you know what I mean? Sometimes we're not necessarily getting paid the full way, or certain things aren't happening, that we're just making it harder on ourselves. And I would like to show you guys how to do that process, because it can be challenging, but we do all have to do it. Nobody seems to be excited about leases. Nobody wants that to be their full-time business, but we all do it. We do it as a service to our clients, for our sellers. We do it as a service to our buyers who will soon be buyers, but may right now be renters. And so it's a skill that you need to have and that you need to have honed, especially in this market where some people will not necessarily be able to qualify for a loan anymore. And maybe they do need to be put into a lease for a bit. So plus it's just with any of your investor clients, they're going to want to know that you have the skill, and it does make you very valuable. So, and knowing how to do it, I shared with you guys a little while ago, I sent out 2 postcards, and the second postcard got me this lease listing, and that first commission check has now paid for itself. By the way, just as a little side note, the tenant in that property looks like they're going to be moving. They need to move out. And so I'm going to be refilling it. So if anybody has anyone that is interested in it, let me know, because I've got a list of about 12 prospects that I need to get through today. So on that note, let's open it up, because I think that's really all that I kind of have for you guys today. I just really wanted to check in, and I wanted to hear from you guys. So on that note, I would like to go through and maybe just see if you guys have any needs or wants. Craig, do you have any listings coming up, or any buyers that have any needs or anything?
I have a new listing in Sunrise Palms. It's a small little condo, 2-in-1, listed at $359. Very cute. Yeah, it's right in Palm Springs.
Fee land or lease land?
It is on leased land.
Do you know what the annual lease is on it?
Lease is on that. It's only $600 a month, or $600 annually. That's it. So it's
$600 annually.
Yeah, I know. And that's what I thought. $50 a month. It's kind of crazy.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good. Oh, that's definitely needs to go in the marketing remarks on that one.
So well, the problem is it's on a short lease. It's still on 45 is when it at least. So they're in process of negotiating that up.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Got it. All right. Kara, how about you? Do you have any needs or wants that you want to share?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've actually gotten a lot of, since we last talked, more inquiries about leases in specific. Hello. Hi, how are you guys? Sorry, one second.
That's okay. No problem. I appreciate that she's on even while she's doing an open house or whatever it is that she's doing. How about you, Luke? Is there anything you want to share with us? What do you see? First off, share some escrow stuff with us. What are you seeing in escrow right now?
Escrows are still opening. Problem with like a bunch of new constructions. Those ones we've been opening and closing a lot because, or not closing, canceling, because a lot of buyers, their rate lock, goes up, and then they realize like the construction can take longer. So we've been seeing that. We have been seeing some loans have been coming in with appraisals low. And we've only had one buyer that couldn't come in with the difference, but all the other ones that were able to come in with the difference to be able to still successfully close it. We are seeing a little bit of a slowdown with the loans, mostly government-backed loans, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. But people are still opening escrows. We're still getting them in and getting them closed. Everybody's in a rush to get everything done, but escrow is definitely moving still. There's still some opportunities out there.
Awesome. Good to hear. Good to hear. How about one question, Luke? How about like when it comes to buyers canceling? I heard you say rate locks are an issue, but how about buyers canceling just because they change their mind or figure out like maybe it's not necessarily like they can't qualify? Are you having buyers cancel for any other reasons other than just plain old can't qualify?
No, nothing negative.
Okay.
We had one where they canceled on one property, but they found another. That's the reason why they canceled it. So okay. They referred the other one. But other than that, I mean, there's no real issue of not closing them.
Okay, got it. Awesome. Good to hear. I'm really, really glad to hear that. Kara, whenever you're done, feel free to pop back on.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm here now.
Good. And thank you for being on the call from wherever you're at. Obviously, you've got stuff going on.
Yes, so I am here. Where can I'm at the syndicate.
Oh, yay.
My hair is like purple a little bit. So yeah, I have 2 clients I'm doing leases with right now. One was the one that we talked about, Nikki.
Okay.
It's been like a process just because she was very specific about what she wanted. And I have another property I'm showing her on Wednesday that I'm pretty sure she'll be moving into. She's actually coming down from Arizona.
Thank you so much for taking care of that for me. I completely forgot about her, and that just goes to show how well you've been handling her, because she's never reached out to me again. So thank you.
No, yeah, she's she's very needy. Yeah. When you are like, oh, I need someone who's gonna be like consistent with her, I'm like, you were not kidding. Like she's been very sweet, yeah, but just like very all over the place with like what she wanted, basically. But I think we found the place for her on Wednesday is when we can go see it. And then, so actually, I don't know, when you mentioned, do you have that one off Laura, right? That's your listing?
So that one is about to become available again.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like,
that was the original one she called on. So we might
I
be
know.
able to pull that back together.
yes, so that's what, I'm so glad that you said that, because we're gonna go see that one and then two more on
You can't
Wednesday.
see Laura. You can't see Laura. I have a tenant in it. It's not
No,
available.
no.
Oh, you're gonna see it.
Not Laura. No. We're seeing the one that she really wants. We're seeing
Okay.
that one and then two other properties. But I was gonna say, I was like, if she's already gonna come down here, not that she can see yours, but I should talk to her or mention yours. When is it gonna be available?
Because you could at least come bring her into the development. You know what I mean? Show her the complex.
Yeah. When is
Okay.
it available?
I don't know yet. I'm still working on getting them out.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what's been going on with me. We've ever since we had one more price improvement on Spencer, and we have 3 more interested buyers, which is good.
Okay, what was the
So,
price improvement to? What did you go to?
we went to $1,050,000.
Okay.
So
Got
yeah,
it.
which I think it's a good, I've talked to Craig about it. And he said that
I
it was-
agree with you on that. Like you and I both talked about it. And this is one where guys, Kara and I went through the numbers and Craig went through the numbers. We all looked at it and we were like, oh, it's probably $1 million. But in this market, like, yes, I want to say is in my mind, we've passed the peak. I think
Right.
that's my opinion.
Mhm.
Because of a couple things I've seen happen in a few places where I'm like, that can't happen again. Like in my neighborhood,
Right.
that one that closed for 460, that is $150,000 over the last one that closed. Like,
Yeah.
it's just that can't happen again. So
Also,
I feel like we've gotten to that place, but at the same time, like I really felt like it was worth it to give that listing a shot at the $1,050,000. And normally we talk about wanting to price those properties. When we're pricing, it's a strategy. It's just like any other marketing, it's a strategy. So who are we getting that property in front of? And the way we have to think is think like a buyer. Does a buyer come to me and say, search up to $1,050,000? Absolutely never. Absolutely never. Never, ever, ever. They come and say, search up to $1 million, or maybe we'll go 1, 2, or 1, 1, and they normally want to look into $1 million in that range. They want to look up to $1 million, and then they'll either decide to go up or down based on what they're looking for, right? And so we talked about it, and maybe needing to get that property in the $1 million price range. But we feel like there's still enough activity in the $1.1 million to $1.2 million that we still will probably pull some people in looking at, or $1.1 million, not $1.2 million anymore. But now have it at $1 million, like right below $1.1 million. I still think you're going to have enough people looking at it. But the thing you want to think about with that is if those people are searching up to $1.1 million and we're at $1.05 million, where are we? They're going to see the best properties first. So chances are they're going to see a lot of stuff at $1.1 million. They're probably going to see some stuff at $1 million, $1,075,000 or $1 million. We are now at $1.05 million, so they have to get through all that $50,000 worth of product before they're going to get to us. And so we just have to be aware of that. But the good news is there's a few enough things on the market right now that we can do that, and in most cases the buyers will weed through it. When we get to a market where things are shifting a little bit and things are a little bit different, buyers won't weed through the properties because they won't have to. There will be more inventory. So just be aware of that in your pricing strategy as you guys are moving forward.
Oh.
All right. And do you guys have any, I know what I wanted to ask you about. Memorial Day. It's Memorial Day weekend. What are you guys planning? Are you doing open houses? I'm hearing lots of agents doing open houses this weekend. So I want to know what you guys are doing this weekend. Carrie, you're unmuted. So tell me real quick, are you doing any open houses or anything?
Yeah, so, well, actually that's a good idea. So I was going to do, because we don't have a solid offer in here, and so I was going to do 2 open houses, Saturday and Sunday.
Sure.
But now that I think about it, I might just do Sunday and Monday. I have another open house someone has asked me to do tomorrow, so it's just a busy weekend in general. I'm sure I can have someone cover me tomorrow, but yeah, I didn't even think about Monday. That's a really good idea.
Yeah, so here's this is sort of the process on the thought process on holiday weekends for real estate agents is that most people are off work and they have this leisure time that they don't normally have. So when they wouldn't normally have time to go into an open house, they will, and lots of people come out. It really just depends on where the open house is, and it depends on the kind of drive-by traffic or how you're able to put up your signs. But if you have one that you can sit this weekend, I don't think it would be a bad idea. Another thing to think about, heavily consider sitting open house this weekend in the office. Take some floor time. There will be tons of people out. And I have to tell you guys, I was here till 7 o'clock last night, 7:30 or something like that. It was busier after 5 o'clock than it had been all day long. And so it's just something to think about. Like if you don't have anything going on, or you're just going to sit there and do some lead gen, or you're going to just clean up your database, or we even had John came in the office one weekend because he was going to do his taxes, and he just decided to do it from here. And he picked up a client while he was here. There's still people walking by. I actually decided that because I'm in here so much by myself right now, I'm going to pull together my open house or my floor time plan, like what I'm going to do when somebody walks in. I have a bunch of people that have requests, or a bunch of people that have walked in off the street that have requested property lists. And so I'm going to pull together a couple searches so that if somebody comes in and asks me for one, I can have a few searches that I'll pull up, and maybe every week I'll just pull up some properties. It doesn't have to be completely in date. It could be a little outdated, and some of those properties can be gone by the time that they get them. And that might happen, but it's okay. Like I'm going to just pull a few lists, like maybe South Palm Desert and a couple other areas that people have asked me for a few times. One other thing to just be aware of, I sent you guys, almost all of you, I think, got the video yesterday of the maps in the office that First American has left. It was just Palm Springs, Palm Desert, and Coachella Valley. Now it includes La Quinta, Rancho Mirage, and several other cities. So those are in the office and available. I think we have Indio too. Those are in the office and available. I do have a little map presentation class that I would love to do for you guys. It takes about 30 minutes for me to go through it, but it shows you how to do a map presentation of the Coachella Valley. And we can also do one for Palm Springs. I think I'll probably bring Josh in for that one because he'll probably be the expert on that. But we can do one for Palm Springs and for a few other more focused areas. But that map presentation that I like to do is really good to do with walk-ins who don't know the area. It's also something that I do with every single buyer that I sit down with, whether they know the area or not, because I teach them some things that even I, growing up here, did not know that I lived in the windy area. In the place that I grew up. I thought the wind belt was in Palm Springs where my grandma lived. I didn't get that I also lived in a windy area. So there's like this little education that I like to do with buyers or clients who are coming into the Valley, that it also is my how to get out of being a red Jeep tour class. What I always suggest is that you have a way when a client comes into town and they just want to go explore the Valley and they don't really know it yet. I can set up a tour where I can show you 45 different properties from one end of the Valley to the other, and you're both going to hate the day by the time it's done, right? So what I normally do is bring you in, sit you down, go over a map of the Valley, point out some key areas, ask you what you love to do in the Valley. Is it golf? Is it tennis? Is it horse? It's like there's the equestrian situation over in the Eastern Valley. And what you like to do will end up being where you buy a house. So if you really love, the polo grounds and you love, the equestrian side of it, we're probably going to find something for you on that end of the Valley out in South La Quinta. If you really love El Paseo, chances are you're going to gravitate to South Palm Desert, maybe North Palm Desert. If you really like Old Town La Quinta, chances are we're going to be looking somewhere on that side of the Valley for you. But if you love, let's say there's also the river, there's downtown Palm Springs, there's several downtown areas. And the one that most people gravitate to, or the people gravitate to the most, generally tends to be the place where they want to buy a house. So I love to sit them down, kind of go over the Valley, explain a few things, and then send them out and tell them to go explore. And I've shared with you guys a couple times at the Coachella Valley Visitors Bureau. There's one in Rancho Mirage right next to Las Casuelas. They have all kinds of brochures that you can pick up. So if you know the client's into hiking, you can go grab some hiking brochures. If you know the client's into golf or even wants to take a red Jeep tour, you can go pick up a discount card for a red Jeep tour at the Visitors Bureau and send them out on that tour. So you're not the one teaching them where the tallest palm tree is in Palm Desert, right? Like there's all kinds of things that you can do that help you to be able to leverage the services we have without putting them in your car, but still getting them to feel like you're their agent. Does that make sense? So
would
it's,
love
it's
for you to go over that with me. I have a
absolutely,
buyer and
it
he wants
is.
to meet next weekend and he doesn't know exactly where he wants to go. So that would be really great for me to learn and go over with him.
Okay, so what we can do is this can be a Zoom class. I'll try to figure out a way that I can put the map on the screen. Okay, I'll try to figure out how to do that sometime next week. I'm going to try to make it a Zoom class so I can record it and then everybody else can have it. But if I can't figure out how to make it a class, Luke, you and I can go over it on Tuesday at 10 if you want to make that live.
Yeah, that would be great.
That would probably be easiest. And then we can look at where are you going to be showing him property? Which cities?
He was thinking like Indio, La Quinta, like down in that area.
Oh, perfect.
he's
Let's
not-
go. I have maps for both of those. We'll go through those and
Okay.
we'll do the Coachella Valley and then I'll break it down a little smaller for you.
Okay. Yeah. that would
Perfect.
be
And then
great.
we'll plan on doing that. I'll plan on figuring out a way to do it on Zoom, even if I just do it myself and record it,
Yeah.
so that you guys can have access to it. It is so helpful though. It's the best thing I've ever learned to not be the red Jeep tour driver, to let them go out and explore. And another key piece to that is I give them a stack of my business cards. So I'm like, as you're out and about, if you go into, I will have the conversation then about new home developments. Are there any new home developments you want to visit? If there are, I want to try to go with them, register them, whatever it is. But even open houses, I give them a stack of my cards so that as they're out and about, if they go into an open house, just give the agent my card and, we'll write your name on the back. That way they call me and not you. Then they don't ask for your phone number. And they're like, they always love that. They think it's a great service so that they're not getting spammed. And instead I will. And they'll take my stack of cards and end up handing them out. So there's lots of little tricks that I can give you guys. We'll do that in that class. I know I have lots of ideas for classes coming up, but I don't want to overwhelm you and bog you down. I tend to feel like the summertime is the best time to do these classes because it's hot outside and you can come in here and the office is 72 degrees. And I'll make it real comfy for you. But we'll try to do as many of them as we can on Zoom. Just so that they're accessible for everybody. And I'll try not to make more than, I think, how do you guys feel about 2 a week? Is that too much or do you prefer that I just keep it to like one educational piece a week? One? Okay. Yeah, I kind of felt like the last time I did 2, it was a little too much. A bunch of people didn't make it to both of them. Okay. All right. What else? Anybody doing anything else fun for Memorial Day as far as clients? Any pop buys or any drop offs that you're doing? Anything interesting there? I will say that I did some more of the liquid IVs and these have become a real hit. Even just whether I keep a couple of them in my bag all the time, they were a real hit with my overlandy friends. And anywhere that I go, I try to have some of these. So I actually ended up buying a couple more flavors. Some of them are interesting. The lemon ginger one turns your water a really weird color, but the tangerine one's really good. So those
I
have
did
been.
that in my open house on last Sunday. I did that and I did like the Better Homes and Gardens basket or whatever. And it was a huge hit. Amy gave me an idea of like having people enter and to win the basket. I got like 30 little invite things. So I was able to obtain all their contact info just from having all that stuff out. So that's a very good idea. I loved it.
That is wonderful. And I want to point out that is exactly why we do it, so that you get the contact information. That is the reason for all of this. If you are not getting contact information, please don't staple your cards to these things and hand them out. Like this is great. This is great for like farming and for Popeyes and stuff like that. But that is exactly why you do it. You're collecting that information. Now, Luke, I want to know, what are you going to do with that information that you've collected? Do you know what you're going to do with it yet?
Yes. So I already on Monday, I already followed up with everybody, sent them an email. I gave them a phone call, just following up with them, if they were interested in looking at other properties. There was one guy who I ended up having a full-on conversation for like 45 minutes. He's actually from Miami and he was in town looking for an investment property or whatever. So he wants to go out and look at more properties. I ended up showing him, David Rios has a couple of pocket listings or whatever. So we went on Monday and we just looked at those, just previewed them or whatever, but he left. And now we're gonna set him up on a thing where it sends him like the newest listings in his price range and get that going for him. So
Perfect.
it was super exciting.
That's exactly what I wanted to hear. So again, ladies and gentlemen, if we're not going to do lead follow-up, don't bother with the lead generate. Like, don't waste your Saturday at an open house if you're not going to call the people back that you get the information from, right? So that's exactly the process that I like to follow, is that you do the open house on the weekend. On Monday morning, you reach out, thank them for coming to the open house, see if they have any real estate needs, find out if they'd like to set an appointment. And the one thing that I want to be careful of, and I want to share this story with you. I know I love my anecdotes, but this story was, I was sitting in an office and I was working with this team, and I worked with the hardest working group of people that I had ever met. We would go in that office and we would pound those phones until our fingers were bloody. This guy was on the phone all the time. He was do open houses that were so successful. He'd have hundreds of people sign up. And I hear him on the phone constantly. No problem, I'll cancel it. Have a great day. No problem, I'll cancel it. Have a great day. And what it was he would set up portals for people. He would do these open houses on Monday. He would call, find out all the needs. On Monday, all day Tuesday and Wednesday, he would set up portals, and then he'd never call them again. And they would eventually find another agent who would call them. They would go into escrow, they would close escrow, and once they were done with their escrow, they would call him and ask him to stop the search. And it really was because he was just creating searches and never doing anything else. And what we ended up doing was asking him, I said, just do me a favor, run an experiment for me. For the next 2 weeks, I want on Monday, when you make those follow-up calls, don't set up portals, set appointments. I want you to set appointments, and appointments doesn't have to be a face-to-face meeting. It can be over the phone. It can be Zoom. It can be face-to-face. But what it is a dedicated time for me to sit down and talk about real estate with you. I want you in the mindset to talk about real estate with me. And that's what I'm doing, because I want to give your goals the respect of not having other things going on while you're talking to me, right? I want to give you and your goals the respect of giving you my undivided attention. And in order for us to do that, I need you to be in the mindset to talk about real estate. So I have to understand that when I call you on Monday morning, you might not be there. You may, and I may get to do the appointment right then and there, which is just a needs analysis and uncovering, which sounds like is what you got to do, Luke, with the gentleman that you talked with. The thing I just want us to be careful about is that if you just go plug them into a portal and expect that they're going to call you when they find the property they like, just be aware that you're probably very sadly mistaken, right? They may call, but they also may call someone else. They may call the last person that was in their memory, and that property may come from you. But if you're not following up with them on the stuff you're sending them, it's just like me. If I could drop all of these off at the front door of every single one of my neighbors and it wouldn't really mean anything. I don't drop these off at doors. I put them in hands of people who open the door. Right. And so that's the thing, again, like you want to make sure that while we're doing the follow-up, that we're also following up on our follow-up. And so you do the portal, and then you want to make sure that you follow up with those conversations and have conversation with them about what that means. Luke, were you going to say something? Did you want to add something there?
No, that's a good point. The follow up with them. I need to be checking in with them. He told me to he has a couple of other trips he's going on. He's like, follow up with me after the first week of June. So I was planning on doing that, but I think maybe I might just send him like an email sooner and be like, hey, did you get a chance to just glance at these or something, just to keep my name in his mind,
Absolutely. Craig, what were you going to add?
I was going to say that's where a good CRM comes in handy. I always set reminders for my CRM to pop up, hey, follow up this person, because we can't keep it all up here.
It is. You absolutely have to have it someplace. You have to categorize your clients. You have to follow a schedule for who you're going to call and how you're going to follow up. But the phone calls themselves are very simple. The phone call is just, hey, you just popped into my mind this morning. I was thinking about you. How are you? People love it when you think about them. I love it when people think about me. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel valued, and it makes me feel cared for. And to be candid, in our world, there aren't very many people doing that for us. And the same goes for our clients, right? So it's really nice when someone's thinking about us. So just a quick call saying, hey, I was just thinking about you. How are you? How are things going? Do you have any needs? And if they have a need coming up, I'm just checking in just to see how things are happening. I have a client right now that I referred him to someone in Florida. And he reached out to me a little while ago and let me know he was having challenges. I just reach out to him every week and say, hey, just checking in. How's your escrow going? I just found out he got into escrow 2 weeks ago. So I just check in on him every week. How's it going? How are you? I've been thinking about you. And that's really all that it needs to be, is just to check in with people. And then you're just looking for those opportunities to set that appointment to have a deeper conversation. If you find out they have some needs, hey, you know what? I absolutely would love to sit and chat with you. When's a good time for us to spend 15, 20 minutes on this? And if it's right now and you have the time right now, great, do it. But just make sure that you take control of your schedule and take control of the situation. I did actually, that kind of leads me to one other thing that I was thinking about this week. I shared with you guys at the beginning of the year, I was trying to set up Calendly for myself, which is basically it provides a link at the bottom of my email that you guys can click and go look at my calendar. I've had a challenge with it with my exchange. And so I've kind of recommitted this week to getting that figured out. Because what I have started to notice, and this really leans into you guys setting appointments with your clients. What I've started to notice is that when you guys set appointments with me, I'm able to dedicate my time to you and I'm able to give you undivided attention. When you just pop in on me or when you just need something real quick, you end up getting half of me. You end up getting the version that's also answering somebody else's text or has 3 other things that were going on when you walked in that I didn't quite get to finish and I have a timeline on them. And so I'm going to try to set up some things in my calendar so that when you guys need me, you can go in and select an appointment time. That also just gives me the ability to prepare for the appointment and to get everything else off my plate. And it's sort of the same thing that you guys want to do with your clients. You want to make sure they have everything else off their plate, even just their mental plate, that they're able to come into this conversation and really sit down and talk with you about what it is that they have going on. Just yesterday, I had an agent walk in the office and we were in the middle of a conversation. And in the middle of that, I got some text messages that sort of threw me off. I wouldn't normally have even looked at my phone, but I was in the middle of 2 other things when he came in and I couldn't give my undivided attention. And when he left, I felt terrible. Like it didn't feel like it was a good conversation and it's not how I wanted to go. And so I also don't want you guys to have that experience with your clients and I don't want your clients to have that experience with you. So make sure that when you're sitting down to make these calls, you really actually truly have the time to do it and you don't have anything else distracting you. And then also just make sure that you're setting the appointment with your client so that they don't have distractions and they're able to do it during a time where they can sit down and actually take the time to think about the questions that you're going to ask them. Especially if you know that that client has not thought about the things that you're going to ask them. A lot of times I'll ask people questions, what has to happen in order for you to make a decision to sell your home? What has to happen in order for you to make the decision to buy? And they go, wow, that's a good question. I haven't thought about that. If somebody says that to me, I know that this conversation probably is going to take longer than a day. Because if you've never even thought about it, we have a long way to go before we really get to the why of what's going to motivate you to move forward through the entire process. Because we all know the process is not simple, right? It's our job to get them through it. And that's why we're paid well. And so we have to be able to help every step of the way, remind them of the motivation of why we're doing this to help them get to that closed escrow. Make sense? All right. What else do you guys have? Anything else that you want to throw out for me? Craig, you're off mute. So I'd love to hear from you first.
I wanted to ask, where can you find, I was thinking about for my open house, handing out little flags since it's Memorial Weekend, those tiny little flags. Where would I find those? Like a dollar store?
I would say maybe the dollar store. My best bet for those is ordering them out on Amazon. You might, because of
that.
Well, Amazon Prime, you might be able to get them. If you go look on Amazon, you might be able to find something that'll get to you by tomorrow. But I would say the dollar store for sure, maybe Target, Walmart, like I would be searching those places. I'm trying to think. A party supply store. Party supply store would be a good one.
Yeah,
yes.
That's what I was just about to say.
Yeah. Luke, are there any in Palm Springs that would be a good place to start?
Honestly, off the top of my head, I don't know of any party stores. I want to say I saw some at Walgreens, but there was like 4 or 5 of them, like in the little basket, like sticking up. But I was gonna say, just go to your nearest party store. I bet you they would have it.
There's a Michael's over here around the corner.
Oh yeah, Michael's or Hobby Lobby. I bet you those, or or Joann's or any of those. I was gonna say, if you do go to a convenience store, if you're gonna go to a drugstore, I would go to like the ones in Rancho Mirage or Palm Desert. Tend to be a little less picked through sometimes, especially the ones out by like closer towards the freeway. Those ones tend to be a little less picked through. But I think your best bet's Michael's or Hobby Lobby or one of those places. Awesome. All right. What else? Do you guys have anything else you want to review today or cover? I don't need to take a whole hour of your life today. I can give you some of it back. All right. I think we're good. All right. Awesome. All right. Well, it was nice meeting with you guys this morning. It's good to see you. It's definitely good to be back. Happy to be home. I will be available all weekend. So if anybody needs anything, if anybody has any questions or has challenges this weekend, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm around and happy to help.
Awesome.
All right.
I'm going to come print out some flyers.
What was that?
I'll see you in a little bit. I'm coming in to print out flyers.
Yay. Awesome. I'll see you in a bit.
All right.
All right.
All right,
Thank you
bye,
so
guys.
much. Talk to you soon.